I have bought a vintage kit off eBay that I wanted to share with you. Buying second-hand or vintage can save you a little bit of money, but also I think it's quite environmentally sound. You're kind of saving things probably from landfill. You can get a lot of cheap kits from Amazon, AliExpress, Temu, even Etsy. You will find lots of mass-produced kits coming from China. Let's take a look at what you get in this kit. It's from a company called Golden Fleece First Steps embroidery picture, or that's the title. And it says, made in England by the British Needle Company Limited, Redditch, Worcestershire. I've not heard of this company, but having done a little bit of quick research, apparently Redditch is really famous for making needles, and there's actually a museum there now because of the history of Redditch making needles. So this places this kit in probably the 60s, because that's when the company stopped producing their needles. So I'm assuming it's around that time, and looking at the box and the design, I think that's probably right. First thing you see is this white frame that the kit is in, and this is actually what I'm going to sew it in, but also it's a way of presenting it. And it does say somewhere on the box that this design is patent pending, so I don't know if they got their patent, because this I don't think really took off. So it is held quite tightly in this frame. The frame is quite stiff, even though I think it's probably just cardboard or maybe a thin piece of plastic within the frame. I'm not sure I entirely like this frame, so once the embroidery is done, I probably won't keep it. I do really like the picture. I was drawn to the picture. I wasn't just buying it for the sake of buying it. I really like the picture. Oh, it tells you how to fix it. Fix hanging hook by springing ends into the pre-cut slot in the plastic back of the embroidery frame, like this. We have a number of threads in different colours. This is the kind of thread that is designed not to be split, so it is going to be quite a chunky design, which is okay. I think that'll suit the picture. And here we have finest quality needles, Golden Fleece, made in Redditch, England. We have 4 needles, nickel plated. They look good. Quite big head, but obviously we need a big head for these threads. It all seems in quite good condition. There are a few embroidery suggestions on the back. Some stitches for your embroidery: running stitch, outline stitch, single stitch, blanket stitch, back stitch, feather stitch, cross stitch, loop stitch, French knot, long and short stitch, satin stitch, buttonhole stitch. So I really don't think you need all these stitches to do this pattern, but it is nice that they're giving you an idea of some stitches. This easy to work First Steps embroidery picture design has been printed in colours which can be followed exactly if you wish, using your own choice of stitches from those illustrated. Please remember, however, that embroidery is an art form, and you can use different colours when working your picture if you like, as you will probably have other coloured silks in your work basket waiting to be used. This is true. I now have quite a selection in my work basket. In this way, you will produce a piece of embroidery unique to yourself. That's a really nice suggestion. I think people forget when they're doing a kit that they can make these changes. It is now your piece of artwork. So it's nice that they're encouraging that. The patented frame of a First Steps embroidery picture holds the material firm and makes it easy to embroider and frames the finished work. The picture can be hung on a wall using the small brass hanger provided, which is attached by springing the ends into the slots provided in the plastic on the back of the frame. See illustration inside. So I think that might be something we are missing, is that little spring. But that's okay. As I said, I'm not sure I want to use the frame as is. So this cost about £5. It did cost a few pounds for delivery as well, so about £8. It's a nice little kit. It's got some nice colours in, some good quality needles, and it's a unique design. I think not everyone is going to be doing this design. So if you're buying second-hand or vintage, it means that you're probably creating something a bit different to what a lot of people are doing with their kits. I'm really pleased with this kit, so we're going to give it a go. Here is the finished vintage kit, which I'm quite pleased with. I tried to keep the design simple. A lot of the printed design on the fabric was dashes, and I wasn't sure, to be honest, if they intended you to do dashes or whether they were just showing you the colour that should be used in that area. Quite possibly that, but I did think it looked quite cool with broken up stitches rather than all solid colour. So the wings, I have just done an outline. I was given a white, so I could have filled these in, but I actually really like this look here. For the body, I have done quite close together satin stitch, so that is all filled in. I've left his eye, again that could have been white, but I do like the natural background. And then with this, I've kind of done a woven stitch. These are just straight stitches, running stitch, and satin stitch alternating in the colours. I found that the frame held the fabric reasonably well. You can see it is a little bit loose. I would have liked to have had it in a hoop really, but it's not a bad design. I think also the fabric is a little thin. I don't know if over time it's got a little bit thin, a little bit damaged perhaps. It took the stitches fine, but I was a little bit wary of making mistakes that I could unpick several times. I think the fabric would have got quite holey if I'd done that. I'm not sure what to do with this piece now. I don't really like the frame. It's very plasticky looking, which is a bit of a shame because it is designed to stay in the frame. I could potentially cut really close to the edge and frame it in something else, or I think also I could cut into this. I think it's been heat sealed. Cut off the edge and try and get into it and see how far the fabric goes here. Unsure, but I really like the piece. It was a vintage piece. I feel like there's nothing else like this around at the moment. and it's given me some ideas. I really like the way this has come together with just the dashes and the way the leaves are two-tone satin stitch. So it made me think as I was doing it. It took a little bit longer than I expected, to be honest, because I was really thinking when I was doing it, oh, how should I do this? What's this going to look like? But I did want it to look different from what's out there. So I think in that way, I've really achieved that.